If you love talking about cats, but your friends and family are kind of over it, this is the podcast for you. Join your hosts, Danielle Stray Woolley and Elizabeth Calico Gearhart, on the Jersey Podcats, where everyday cat lovers share funny stories, challenging situations, and ask their questions about cats. All right, let's get right into this episode.
Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle Woolley.
And I'm Elizabeth Gearhart. And we are the
Jersey
Podcats. Yay. I always try to get that right. So we have cat stories today.
Yes, a couple.
Yes.
And we might ping pong a bit, but I promise it'll all make sense in the end.
Yes.
All right, I don't promise. I never make that process. So people who listen, I ping pong every day of my life.
Yeah, I ping pong a lot too. But I did want to bring something up. I just got back from the vet like an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take Max. His ears are bothering him again. He
Aw.
keeps getting these ear things, but this is the same practice, but a different vet. I really like her a lot. She said she would come on the show because she's got a lot to say. Yes. But there's this cat disease called Bartonella. And Mercutio had it when we got him. And I could tell because his breath stank and there was like patches of stuff in his mouth, it looked like. So they gave him the antibiotic for Bartonella.
Well, before you jump forward, what do you mean by patches of stuff in his mouth? Can you be more specific?
Yeah, have you ever had a yeast infection that gets into your mouth where it looks like there's like patches of skin that are a different color that kind of flake off?
Like a white color, red color?
Yeah,
Okay.
like
I just
a white
want to
color.
describe it for readers in case their cats maybe look like it.
I can't, it's been a long time, so I don't really remember, but I just
Okay.
remember thinking there was something weird in his mouth and it was like white, I think, extra skin that came off or something. And his breath smelled really bad. And he was a kitten. So
Yeah.
normally their breath doesn't smell really bad. I mean, not that cat breath is.
Well,
like Rose's.
Derek does. And actually, for anybody that's in our Facebook community, I put a post up recently saying, please help, because Derek, aka butt breath, like I can't take his breath anymore. And I brought him to the vet and there's nothing wrong with him that we found.
It might be Bartonella.
Well, the reason I was asking like what that looked like, because he had, when I first got him, he had like, almost looked like hamburger mouth. Like he had like little red things. I don't know how else to describe it. But they said that he had rodent ulcers and that he has like autoimmune stuff. But they've gone away. So I'm just trying to make the connection with bad breath. Continue.
So, yeah. Okay. So Bartonella can be passed by fleas. And when we got Max, he was covered in fleas and he was a pound and he weighed 1 pound and we had to wash him in Dawn dish soap because we couldn't put anything else on him.
Very normal, very common. Most rescues do that.
And it was a while before. So anyway, let's fast forward to today. Kushi is 13 years old. And for the last couple of years, he's been getting this congestion. Every few months, I take him to the vet. He gets a shot of an antibiotic and it goes away. And I took him to this vet and she said, well, let me look at his chart. She says, he had Bartonella when you first brought him. Have you had him retested for that? And I said, no. Could it present this way? And she's like, it could. So they retested him for Bartonella. He has it again. And it could be what's making him get this congestion. So it's easy to treat with an antibiotic. They're going to give him a different one this time because he already had the first one and knocked it out. She said it could have been from fleas, could have been from the fleas that Max brought into the house, or, that a lot of cats get it all the time and it's not good for them. And so I said, well, could that have started Max's autoimmune stuff? Like, could that be what's getting to Max? And she said, I don't know, because different cats have different reactions to Bartonella. Right. So we're testing Max. She took the blood today to test Max, but his ears were a mess again. So I have him on cyclosporine twice a day and on a steroid every other day to control his itching, because when I first got him, he itched all the fur off his face.
And is he still taking the Zyrtec?
No. So we substitute.
I'm now on Zyrtec twice a day because of my highly allergy problems to cats, dogs, and everything under the sun.
Zyrtec is a good solution, though, if you can't get the cyclosporine. The cyclosporine is stronger, and what the vet said is it's the same mechanism as Zyrtec, but it's earlier in the allergy chain. So for cats, it works pretty well. And I think the Zyrtec upsets his stomach a little bit too. So So anyway, he's on the Zyrtec and the steroid, but I have Revolution Plus on him, which helps. Revolution Plus helps with a lot of different things besides just fleas. It helps with ear mites, all that other stuff.
Ear mites. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, we have a lot going on with the rescue right now. For those who aren't aware, I'm a volunteer with Tommy's Cats, and then we also partner with other organizations, and I volunteer for the ones that we kind of work together with when I can. And we've had a lot of cats that have either been getting ringworm or they've been having ear mites. So we treat them with, Revolution or whatever version we get through the rescue, because it does more than just fleas. So what I want to mention based on what you're talking about is I've had a lot of people say like, oh, I don't give my cats flea medication because they don't go outside. Well, where I live, I can go outside and bring them back in because I have very sandy dirt because I'm not far from where the water in the bay is. Also, there's a trail behind my house that we can pick up anything. So we're walking through trees. We could bring home fleas, ticks. But it's just important to find something. So even if you're anti like medication or flea medication, find something because you don't know what your kitty cat could be suffering from because they're not being treated for anything, even if they're just inside.
Right. And ticks is another good one, Danny. I mean, fleas and ticks are so small, they're hard to see. And especially if you have dark fur. So, Max he's got dark fur and Cushy's great, but, and I don't see, like if you get a flea comb, you can comb them and see if they have fleas.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so I've shared before that some of my cats love to be brushed. Thor does not. We actually keep buzzing him. We think he's a long-haired cat trapped in a short-haired cat body. He gets so happy after, but not during. So we've got them all used to just being flea combed. Even our outdoor cat loves to be flea combed, and it's more so out of my peace of mind. I can just keep checking them.
Well, we found out that Lily loves to be brushed. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Oh my gosh. So my daughter she's home for a little bit till she goes to her next assignment as a traveling nurse. She's been brushing Lily. She bought 2 brushes specifically for the cat, and so much fur comes off Lily. And she's a small cat, but she's got like this thick fur and it's hot here.
That's what Luffy has. Yeah. And he I look at him and even just petting him, like he feels like I'd be dying. I mean, I'm hot all the time. I've got 2 fans pointing on me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have so many different brushes because I read that certain brushes are meant for different hair types. I just feel like none of them work though. So that's why I've just been doing the flea comb because I feel like that pulls out a little bit at a time of the hair. It's easy to take off. You rinse it off.
Yeah, we get so much hair from Lily. And we had some friends over for dinner, and this one woman said that she knits, and we are talking about the yarn. And I was saying, well, could you
like Renata was saying.
Yeah, because I was kind of remembering
previous
the show.
For anybody who's wondering.
Yeah, and I was like, could you make yarn out of this cat hair? And you probably could, but half the people would be allergic to it, so I'm not sure why you would. Although it's really, really soft. She has very soft fur. But yeah, the amount of fur we're getting off her, and she loves the brush. Lindsay, my daughter, will hold it up and she'll say, "Do you want this?" And Lily will come over and start rubbing on the brush.
That's
so
cool.
You never know.
Since your daughter's been there, have you guys noticed different mannerisms, like different styles of communicating from your cats?
Yes. Well, it's funny because the boys are jealous of each other. So Max and Cushy are always like vying for attention. So if one of them is near me, the other one will just go with her and just be like there. And Max will go,
well, I'm going to ditch you.
Yeah, I'm going with her. So there. But Max likes Richard. They both like Richard too. So, but yeah, I think they get a lot of attention from both of us now. And I think that it has changed kind of the whole dynamic and communication a little bit. So
The reason I asked that is I've shared before, like after my baby Loki passed away, that my cats all started acting differently. Not in a bad way, just differently. Like the spots they used to sit in, they aren't the same exact spots. The way they started communicating with me has changed. Different types of noises that they make when they see food versus, full on headbutting my shin and giving themselves a concussion when they want attention. And then if I try to give them attention when they don't want it, they slink away like, ew, don't touch me. So.
I know. Don't you love that? Yeah. Well, we did have a different situation this past weekend because my son and his wife brought their baby who is 5 months old. She's a great baby. Oh, she smiles all the time. She is wonderful. Of course, cutest baby I've ever seen. Except for my own.
I was gonna say, but you're biased.
Yeah, I'm biased. But Max got jealous of the baby. And he didn't do anything to the baby. He was just like he was just all ticked off, and he just like would stomp away and stuff. And I tried to get him to let the baby touch his fur because he's really soft. And we did have it where I think Lindsay was holding the baby and I was holding Max, and they looked at each other, and I don't think I got him close enough for her, but we did sneak in a cat fur touch for her. So she has had her first touch of cats.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. One of our feeders with the rescue, she's having a baby, and I was looking up books because I like books. And believe it or not, the books behind me, I did go through and try to get rid of some. And somehow while doing that, I got more. But anywho, I like to get baby books for people. Like when I go to showers, instead of a card, they get a book. And
Yeah.
because she was part of the rescue, I'm like, oh, I can actually buy cat stuff for her. Then, she'll appreciate it. And I found a book that's called My Cat's First Baby. Like instead of my baby's first cat, it's called My Cat's First Baby. But it didn't get here in time, so I didn't order it. But I'm like, what a cool book concept.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and my son and daughter-in-law brought the dogs with them too that stay in the basement. So this is funny. So the dogs stay in the basement where the cat boxes are. They're in a closet down there. And so we have to shut the basement doors. So I set up a temporary cat box on the main floor, and they go outside a lot and they do their business outside a lot. So they didn't use it a lot when the dogs were here. And I didn't take it away right away because I kind of forgot about it because it was in this other room. And they started using it after the dogs left.
That's funny.
And Richard goes in there. He goes, why is this still here? And why are the cats using it? They can get down to the basement.
Yeah, because now it's just a new spot. Yeah, I had because I haven't been feeling well on and off. I feel like I've been saying that since we started the podcast, but it's the truth. And so I have 4 cats inside, and we have 4 litter boxes. So I clean them every day, sometimes twice, but it's more out of my own. I just don't like any kind of smell whatsoever. Like I don't ever want my house to smell, and it usually doesn't. But I wasn't feeling well, so like I think I skipped a day and I went to go scoop that night. And so technically I missed 2 or 3 scoopings at that point, which the world was ending for Luffy because he always does his number 1 in a very specific box. And that one like had nothing left. It was just all filled with pee. And right in front of me, he was like crying and like running to the litter box. And I was like, oh, what's wrong? And he peed. So I felt awful. I couldn't yell at him. It's because he was trying to tell me like, I really got to go. And this box is gross, Mom. Aww. So it's the first time ever one of my cats just like peed in front of me and was like, I'm sorry.
Well, go ahead.
So I found something they've been using to clean it up. And at first I was so annoyed because it was on the new cat couch that I bought at Aldi by accident. Let me repeat myself. I bought a cat couch by accident.
How did you do that? I
was running in to pick up like something random on my way home from a doctor's appointment so that I didn't have to go into a full-on grocery store. And it was just there. So I had to buy it. So it was by accident. But it was white and he peed on it. So I was like, I'm just going to throw it away because I was cranky and I didn't feel good. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just try this pee stuff I bought. And I sprayed it on it. And I said, if that doesn't work, it's just going to go in the trash. It worked.
What was it?
It doesn't smell like pee. I'd have to look. It was a Facebook ad that popped up at 2. But I bought a whole gallon of it because I was like, if that ever happens again. But it just goes to show is no matter how much of a cat person you are, like if you disrupt the cat's routine or you introduce new people or you don't keep their litter box clean, it's not their fault.
Well, when we had Checkers, who I still miss, she would come inside to use the litter box. She wouldn't go outside. But the other thing she did, she had a strict rule that she made all the other cats adhere to. One litter box was for pee. The other litter box was for poop. And so we would go
if they broke the rules.
I think she'd get really mad at him. We'd go to clean the litter boxes and there would just be poop in one and just pee in the other one. It's so funny. And it was her rule because she was the one that used them the most. Yeah. She was such a crazy cat. She was really in charge. I don't really have a cat that's super in charge right now, which is unusual because I usually have a really dominant cat.
Yeah, it used to be Thor, but he's gotten so mellow now. You probably can't hear it, but he's walking around the house right now going, making little cooing noises. And he's been so lovey. He doesn't run away when people come over now. And he runs to them do you have food? Because that's all he has is food. So yeah, his whole thing he completely changed.
Wow, that's wild.
Well, again, I think he was just hyper focused on wanting to take care of Loki. Loki was sick, and now it's just
that responsibility is gone. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we had people over for dinner Saturday night, and Kushi made his presence known. We were sitting at the dining room table and he gave everybody the tail on their legs, walked through the chairs, winding around like a jungle cat or something. He's so cute.
So then do you have certain behaviors that your cats do when people come over aside from that? Like for me, like Tony wants nothing to do with people. Like even if somebody's delivering a box or like the mail, he hears that door, he runs straight upstairs. He wants nothing to do with it.
Well,
And
it's
like
fun.
when we have friends cat sit for us, they swear we don't have a cat named Tony because they never see him.
Yeah, it's funny. Lily used to be more tolerant. I think now she really doesn't enjoy having people around. Max growls when people come to the house. Anybody, not us, but he doesn't do anything, except growl. But it's like, what a weird cat, like growling because people are coming over. And then Kushi's pretty social. Like Kushi always lets people pet him when they come over to visit us. And yeah, so Max is kind of like, oh, I don't really care. He's kind of possessive and he's kind of like, this is my family. I don't want anybody else around. So I don't think anybody was able to pet him this weekend. But Lily used to love my daughter-in-law and I didn't really see her much this weekend. I think the baby freaked them out.
Well, it's different. It's different smell. It's a different noise. There's more commotion around it. And I'm sure everybody was going, oh. They were like, my goodness, what is going on with that pitch of voice?
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is because it's been very busy on the rescue front right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been interesting. Like when it's slower, we could spend more time with people and explain how cats work. Like we've had so many people say, I want, I need a black kitten. I'm like, okay, well, tell me about your household. Do you have other pets? Do you have other kittens? Somebody play. I just want a black kitten. Well, if you said to me, I want a black kitten because I just like black kittens, I think they're cute, but I'm never home, we can't really match you to a black kitten that's super playful and needs attention.
Right.
But maybe there's I was going to say purple cat. That's my day. There's no such thing as purple cats, people. But let's just say there's a ginger colored cat or an orange cat that is totally good being solo, wants attention sometimes. Like that would be a better match for you. So I just invite people to be more open. And rather than saying, I want this exact type of animal, talk to volunteers at different rescues or shelters about what kind of household you have, what kind of personality do you have, do you want a cat that's going to be in your face all day long, and then allow them to kind of match the cat to you guys.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard. So when we got Max, we carried him a lot and tried to, but really, as I said, he was supposedly 8 weeks old. He only weighed 1 pound. He should have weighed 2 pounds, but he gained weight right away. He was almost dead. I didn't realize how he was so close to death when we got him. Didn't know it at the time, but looking back now I do. And we really tried to humanize him and you know what? It didn't work. Like he watched the other cats and they're kind of, well, they're typical cats, right? Yeah. They're aloof, they're standoffish. And he's like, well, that's how I'm going to behave then. And it's like, I know you wanted to snuggle me and have me sit on your lap all the time and everything. Forget it.
Yeah. And some cats are just naturally prone to that. We have a rescue cat now that is in foster. She showed up, and actually I've never experienced a cat in heat before in my life. So it was a very interesting experience where the cat showed up. It was Ginger. So we all assumed that it was a boy, because it was orange. Most orange cats are boys. But the way the cat was acting was like on its tippy toes in the front, its butt was up in the air and it was like wiggling. So the foster that she happened to walk into the Perfect House, because it's one of our volunteers, was like, I think that he's having problem peeing. I'm so scared. Does he have like crystals or something? And then she sent a video and we're like, is that a girl? It looks like it's a cat acting like it's in heat. And it was. And I was like, I've never experienced that before. So that's why it's super important to keep your cats inside if they're not fixed, because we don't know where this cat came from. We posted everywhere thinking it was a lost cat because it was so friendly. Nobody claimed her. I checked her. She had no microchip. And she just has the sweetest personality when she's with the foster. She's fine when she went into the unit at PetSmart. But then just interacting with certain people or maybe with certain cats or certain kittens, she just was starting like to swat and hiss at people, which, is not a bad thing. Those are just warning signs saying like, hey, I'm not happy about something. But that's another example of you can't just say, I want a super friendly orange cat until you know what their behavior is, or you're patient enough to kind of, see how their personality unfolds.
Right. And I do think that animals behave differently with different people, and we kind of let ours do whatever they want. So they seem pretty happy, but they still, Lily to this day, I put some food down for her, and my cleaning lady was here, and she came walking over, and Lily took off like she was in fear for her
Murdered.
life.
Yeah, and it's funny when I have certain people come over, I'm like, are you guys dumb? Like, these people are going to spoil you. Come back.
I know. It's so funny. Well, yeah, I have not gone to PetSmart because I just want to take all the cats. I do. I mean, I saw one there a few years ago that I just fell in love with, and I'm like, no, I cannot take that cat home because I was dealing with Max's issues. That's why I was going to PetSmart.
That's why we want her back in the unit, because we want Elizabeth to walk into the store and say, we must have her.
Well, Richard was
such a sweet cat.
Yeah, Richard was actually looking for a female orange cat years ago. And it's like, 2%, I think it is, or something like that, right? Of orange cats are female.
Well, if you go to the Tommy's Cats Instagram or Facebook, you can see it's Tommy's Cats NJ, how adorable she is. So, but she might be gone.
How old is she?
We between 6 months and a year, we estimate.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to ask Richard if he's still interested. But yeah, I mean, our youngest now is 2, and my daughter has said she would take the cats when I can't take care of them anymore, if it gets to that point. But hopefully,
so you keep loading up. That's what I hear.
What?
So you can keep loading up on more cats. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Although my I don't know when my daughter's ever going to settle down. So, this is so funny. So, Danielle, I have this meetup that I run with Stacy Sherman about podcasting, and I do it. The last one we did was last Tuesday, and we did it strictly on Zoom. Usually it's in person and on Zoom hybrid. We did it strictly on Zoom. So I did it from where we do this podcast. That's part of the reason I don't have my cat pictures behind me. And I just got off another podcast with somebody else. But
podcast. Wow. Start over. Boop, doop, doop, doop. Podcast queen. I was trying to put it all into one word.
Well, it's easy to get on other people's podcasts if you have something to talk about. But so all these podcasts I'm doing with you, everything, no cats, nothing. The one meetup I'm doing where I have to have my computer and you can't touch any of the keys because you don't want to accidentally end the Zoom meeting, which is under my account, right?
It happens.
Kushi decides he's just got to be up here, right, and step on my keyboard. I won't let him step on the keyboard. I mean, it's like, you never do this, cat. I'm recording this meeting.
That's funny. So you should look at, I saw that they had like the little clear shelf that you could put over the keyboard.
Oh, that's what I should do.
On that. And then this way you're still safe underneath.
Yeah, that's what I should do. Because I'm like, any other time, it wouldn't matter because Danielle records these, But this is my meetup recording on my Zoom account.
He just knew. He's like, I'm bored. I'm going to mess with mom.
He's like, I got to see what this. And then, of course, that's the one place where, well, I guess other ones you wouldn't really necessarily want your cats to be in there. Some people don't care. But I would want him to be in this one. But where is he? Probably sleeping in the basement.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he'll join us next time.
Yes.
It was nice catching up and sharing some stories about, cat issues and visitors and different behaviors. Because I think those are important topics that we can keep talking about forever and ever because they come up all the time.
And before we end, I do want to say this vet that I went to, she's really good. She said every cat should be tested for Bartonella, especially if they've been exposed to fleas, and humans can catch it too. And I don't know what it does to humans.
Yeah, I'd be interested to talk to her. I know she mentioned maybe coming on the podcast too. Because with the rescue, it's tough. We've had a lot of people ask us like, well, don't you test for everything? And it's like, well, do you want to pay a $900 adoption fee? Because it's very expensive. But we do test for FIV, FELV. We do give them rabies. We do spay neuter. We make sure they're microchipped and do all of that. But then if they have certain symptoms, we work with a vet tech. We work with a veterinary. We work with a clinic, depending on what's going on, and then go from there. It would be impossible to test every single cat we rescue for everything.
Well, Bartonella is not going to kill him. So, I mean, it's like having a cold or something, I guess, like having that virus. I don't know exactly, but yeah, we could.
I know I learned stuff today.
Yeah, she would love to talk about Bartonella. And then you could ask because she's done rescue work herself. So, yeah, I think I can hardly wait to get her on. So,
all right. Well, sounds good. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening today. Make sure you follow us on thejerseypodcats.com. We have a Facebook group, the Jersey Podcats Podcast Community, and we're on Instagram and your favorite podcast player. Hope to see you again next time.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. Give this podcast a rating so other cat lovers can find it. Connect with the Jersey Podcats on social media or visit thejerseypodcats.com and leave a message sharing a story or question about cats. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode.